Boom, let's do this. Okay, only 4 minutes late. That's remarkable given the situation that I was in 4 minutes ago. I had to reboot my computer and my iPhone and, well, you know the story. It's the same every week. You know, I was watching the American Idol finale and some jazz remakes of gangster rap songs, and it was just very distracting and tough. I've got a bit of a cold at the moment. I'm pretty sure it was a bit of a aggravated sort of throat the other day, but it is now definitely a cold, which sucks. I've got a busy week ahead, so I'm going to have to go and get some meds for it from the doctor tomorrow. But yes, I am. I'm alive. I'm okay. It's not that bad either, actually. But it's me. It's been a big week. So let's get into it. We'll see how I go. I always feel like there aren't many topics, and I always take up the whole hour. So I guess that's what's going to happen again. But let's go for the ride. Hammer time indeed. Tai Nakamura, good to see you, all the way from Flint, Michigan. That's right. I love when you start figuring out who people are and where they're from. Musashi Mark, good to see you, by the way. And great that everyone made it. I was hoping to actually have my DSLR setup that I was using with Victor the other day working. The way that I managed to get this working with the Google Hangouts was with this. I'll do a review of this in a few days. It's basically an HDMI capture, but it can actually, unlike most HDMI capture cards like the one that I'm using, which Google Hangouts does not detect. This doesn't play nice with it. Google Hangouts will detect this as a webcam, and it will make any DSLR with a 720p HDMI output a webcam, which is much better than this or the other webcams that you have. So it's quite nice. Oh, Legit Outlaw, awesome, good to see you, Jess. So yeah, this was kind of cool. The only problem was I didn't realize before, it actually made me sound like Barry White. And the thing is, I'm not entirely convinced that that's a bad thing. You could say that was actually a benefit of this, that it will not only make you appear in HD, DSLR quality, but it will also make you a sexy 70s soul singer sort of baritone voice. So I'm thinking maybe sticking with that. I was kind of surprised last night how deep my voice was, but hey, why not? They've got to drop sometime. So anyway, I'm going to keep playing around with that. I obviously was not organized enough to do it tonight. Is what it is. The other thing I've been doing the last couple of days was I saw. I'll get to this, but damn, I made like 6 of these. Like serious. Check this shit out. This stuff is awesome. If I turn out the lights as well, you'll see these are freaking just great. So with the lad, I've been having some Mace Windu versus Yoda sort of fights and stuff, and they've been pretty cool. Have I got a video playing? You can hear a sound in the back. Really? Oh, wait a minute. I've got my own thing, but it shouldn't be capturing that. Let me stop that. So yes. There we go. Sorry, who was saying that, by the way? Raz Al Ghul. You can hear the sound of a video playing in the background. The only thing I have open at the moment actually is the video of myself playing. So that must be it. Hopefully that just fixed it. But anyway, I'll get into talking about this and all the other stuff that's been happening this week. The big news, of course, is the quake in Kumamoto. A place actually happened. I actually, just before the show, I went and looked up where I was when I was there 2 years ago for a summer vacation. I was in the place. I was literally in the town that was isolated in the middle of the caldera. I was in Minami Aso itself, like the worst hit place. So yeah, lots going on. Let's get into the topics. So someone caught a shot of this. It was very embarrassing actually that this happened, but what can I say? This is, I do work out during the week, and, although I try to cover it up with the shirt, yeah, it's understandable. This is funny. I quite enjoyed this one. That's exactly what that's all you need to really know. Rogue One, the picture, the analysis started coming out. I love the analysis of the new stormtroopers and everything. I mean, again, it doesn't look, and going through the weekend sequence here, it does look a little bit of a B-grade version of Star Wars, which I really hope it's not, because I did go and see actually every single one of the Ewoks movies. So I don't think it's going to be one of those. It does look pretty good. So anyway, this one I am looking forward to it, and I'm hoping it's got some good depth there. There's Donnie Yen, that's right. Donnie Yen's in it, so how can it really be wrong? And I do like the idea that we've gotten away from the from the Skywalkers and actually onto the the infinite possibilities of other characters and cast that of course the Star Wars universe has been exploring, but the movies haven't gone that as deeply into it as the fans would obviously like. So I'm really hoping this is really good. I'm really looking forward to Rogue One. This week, I actually I took my first Sanshin lesson. Sanshin is the originating instrument of the shamisen, the Japanese sort of banjo guitar thing. Only has 3 strings. It's from Okinawa. I was really surprised how super simple it is to use. I was at an Okinawan bar with a co-worker with Rochelle Kopp, and my co-worker friend taught us both how to play it, and it was really, really cool. Maralagos, so that's exactly it. It was the DSLR that really, I think it shows the definition of the muscles. It looks a little bit skinny and possibly slightly hairy, but it's because of the webcam. It's the DSLR. It shows all of the muscle lines. Lucas Muscle, the Ewoks movies exist, as does the Christmas special, and they're all really important. Cold. I told you I've got a cold at the start. I've got to blow my nose. I'm sorry. I would mute that, but I don't know how, so apologies. Ooh. I'll try not to do that too often, but when you got to blow, you got to blow. One of my tracks this week got onto the royalty-free download music charts. So I haven't had many get onto this, but it was kind of nice. So Haru Ichiban, my track, Haru Ichiban track, it's on there. It's nice. It's not it's not a huge, it's not it's not Rick D's, but it's not bad. It's not bad, and it's nice to see a track there getting some downloads and some attention. That was nice. Now that I see the story, I don't really care so much about it, but a lot of discussion about how much pressure the government here is putting on the media and trying to influence the media. And there's this guy who used to appear on TV a lot. He actually runs a blog and an internet live show where he basically does a bullshit, but in the foreign news corner on his show, where he basically finds errors and mistakes in foreign reporting in Japan. Which, if you watch me, there is actually quite a lot sometimes. And he uses that to sort of, criticize media. The Asahi Shimbun, which is very much against the government, saying this is really inappropriate for a member of the government to be doing. The foreign media doesn't like it. Well, hell, they didn't like it when I was doing it either. I'm in two minds. It is part of an overall pattern of putting, indeed using a position of power to put undue influence on the media, which has a chilling effect on free speech. At the same time, however, I think actually less so in recent years. I'm not as hot under the collar about bad quality of foreign reporting on Japan in recent years, particularly since the Great East Japan earthquake, where I think a lot of negative attention was drawn to the quality of reporting in Japan. But certainly up until that point, there was a lot of terrible reporting, like just bad quality, uninformed mistakes and stuff like that. And there is an irony which I've discovered in being featured in the Japan Times myself. Journalists are critical thinkers. They're people who challenge authority. They challenge facts. It's their job to challenge facts and to make sure that they present good information. Yet they're very, not always, some are pretty cool actually, and actually at the moment I think they really are a really cool bunch of journalists in Tokyo, in the main sort of Foreign Correspondents Club bunch compared to like 5 or 6 years ago. But I found, particularly in the past, journalists can be among the most thin-skinned, more thin-skinned about criticism than politicians, I guess because they don't expect it. But when you actually have like Victor trolling the commenters, you actually have a member of government actually trolling the media, doing the reverse back and saying, hey, you just drop some bullshit there and fix it. They get very defensive about it. I'm in two minds about it. On the one hand, where it's a legitimate call, I'd say go to town, but at the same time, obviously, it does play into the narrative that the government is doing stuff it shouldn't. I tweeted during the week I went to Stu's farewell get together. We went to karaoke. It's probably part of why I messed up my voice, actually. I was really trying not to, because I've had a really busy week. But I never knew about this. It's one of those little Genki drinks, but it specifically saves your throat. And that was awesome. So I have to blow my nose again. I'm sorry. Oh, this is terrible. Hold on. So anyway, I can actually use this right now. It saved my voice for the night and for singing, although I might have messed it up for the week. That is me singing. In fact, I believe. Let me just see. Yeah, that's Public Enemy Fight the Power. I also did Sir Mix-a-Lot, and I did the Humpty Dance the last time, Digital Underground. Yeah, that's how I roll. It was a good fun night. Was dropping all that stuff. I got such a laugh out of this. The original Japanese. This is actually a blog that came out afterwards, and I guess Rocket News. I guess that they logically follow the same sources that I do to pick up stuff, and that's why you do get a little bit of a feeling sometimes like, are they actually following my Twitter feed and picking up stories from it? Because I pick up stuff from the original Japanese, and I just link to the Japanese and say the 45-year-old man just got arrested for calling up the police and asking them if it was illegal for him to be dating a 15-year-old. This was just funny, and it's just kind of a good typical Japan thing. Yes, Lucas Musser, I know about the ginger tea thing. I should do that. In fact, you know what? I think I've got something like that around here. You know what? I kind of... Oh, is that it? That's not it. Well, yeah, I'm going to go and get some stuff tomorrow because I need something. So anyway, that was funny. And that's why I put it there. Ha ha. As you may have heard, South Korea... the government, the conservative government that did the Comfort Woman deal with Japan, and is kind of slowly but building a path to actually making friends with Japan again. They recently just got slammed in the local parliamentary elections that they have. They lost the majority in parliament, which means that they're basically going to be the how would I put it, the bitch of the opposition for the rest of the two-year term of the president. And if history is a guide, which unfortunately it is, there's a pretty clear playbook for South Korean politics, which is that when you are in trouble or in doubt or don't know what to do or say, start bashing on Japan. That's what they do, and that's probably what's going to happen from this. It's going to put a lot of pressure. It's actually going to be used as a justification from the government, saying that they need to, because the public demands it, actually go back to taking, being kind of difficult with Japan again. And that's a shame, and that's what everyone's looking out for at the moment. I hope it doesn't play out, but it's almost certain to. So, we've had a good, what was it, late December. It's been a good 4 months of relations, the only positive period of good relations between Japan and Korea since the initial honeymoon period when the President Lee came in. But it's over now, so there you go. This is it's a Japanese blog. It's a person's done an analysis of how much money Japanese YouTubers make and how much Hikaki makes. All these surveys lately of high school students and university students who say that their ideal dream job is to become a YouTuber. I've got a golf screen. By the way, that's a terrible picture of Hikaki, but I think it was on purpose. So it goes through how you can assess how much money they make. The thing is, you can do it all by this kind of social blade and stuff like that, but truth is they make a lot of money from other stuff as well, endorsements. And so I don't think these are actually very accurate, but here's the estimate. Based on the analysis on Social Blade, this guy's got 3 channels, and they think that he probably makes monthly, which is ridiculous. Hikakin TV makes between $26,000 and $428,000 per month. Another channel makes between $25,000 and $400,000 per month, and another channel makes makes practically nothing, $2,000. But they reckon this guy makes really? No way. In fact, actually, now that I read that, they reckon that based just on Social Blade alone and AdSense alone, Hikoki makes at the very least 640k per year and at most $9.9 million a year from being a kind of average-ish beatboxer. So there you go. That's why everyone's joining YouTube, and they do this for a number of other, Hajime Shacho, who they calculate is on, also possibly up to 9 million or 590,000. Bilingual, a lot of you watch her. What do they reckon she's on? They reckon that she is on between 10k and 150k. But still, so making a nice income, and they go through it. It's kind of, I'm sure all of this is wildly inaccurate, but it's kind of interesting anyway. Does he really make No, he could not possibly make $9 million of this. But it's interesting. Now that the bullet train has a new line going up to Hakodate, now it's possible to take a single trip from Hokkaido all the way to the bottom of Kyushu. I've done this exercise before when the bullet train only went as far north as Morioka in Aomori, and it went as far south as Fukuoka. So we're talking 1995. Now it goes a lot further than that, and this is a little blog on how you can do that, so that is cool. And Phil, I agree, it's nice to see someone like Bilingual actually doing well. Baby Metal is the first album of a Japanese artist to crack the top 40 in the US in 53 years. It's Sukiyaki, basically. So, it's funny, there are so many people, the Japanese music industry has tried so hard to push so many artists into this zone. So many artists like Utada Hikaru, who have really, been in the right position to do this, have gone over and tried to do this and failed. Some of them, the most successful artists in Japanese music, like what's his face from X Japan, what's his name again? He even got a sort of nationwide radio show and everything. It's Baby Metal. They've done it. They've kicked everybody's ass. Partly from being on the late show, I guess, and partly from just being, really original and something new, and catching everyone a bit off guard. So I think that was alright. Sorry about this. I might just need to I'm going to zip through this and try to keep this short tonight. This is an article by David McNeil, who is the much better than the last correspondent from The Economist, who actually does a nice feature on the weekly magazines and how they cover the news kind of outside the scope of government pressure and self-regulation. And it's a very nice summary of the weekly magazines and their very important role in news gathering in Japan. We also, and then we get on to the main subject, which is the earthquakes this week. The two earthquakes, actually they've been over 140. In terms of really destructive quakes that are over Shindo 6, there have been like about, what is it? It's nearly a dozen, not quite a dozen, but something like nearly 10. And this one, the biggest one, which actually happened on the 16th, I think the first one happened on the 14th, was actually felt in Tokyo. That number 2, I've explained this numerous times. 1 is almost not detectable. There was a 1 tonight which I felt, which was unusual. I was kind of alerted to it, I guess. 2 you might notice as a tremor, you might not notice. You certainly would notice if you're standing up, you'd notice if you're sitting down. 3 you would notice as tremor, so earthquake, 4 is that's a scary quake, but doesn't actually do anything. And 5 lower, 5 upper is scary, and if you're in a kind of a not earthquake proof thing, you might see some damage. You might see some stuff fall over. 6 will do damage even if you're in an earthquake proof building and you've got 6 lower, 6 upper. And 7's just crazy. And this the first quake was a small area, but it was a 7 where it was in Minami-Aso, which is where I went on my vacation. This other one was like 6 all over the place, all over Kyushu. And actually, everyone talks about Kumamoto, but actually Oita was really badly affected by this as well. And as you can see, indeed, it was a Shindo 3 in Osaka, so it was a very, very big quake. And I've seen some analysis that it was actually very similar to the Kobe earthquake in terms of size and scale and damage and possible economic fallout. As of tonight, there are about 200,000 homeless people in refugee centers as a result of this quake. I think the exact number was like 199,000 or something as of tonight. Um, and they're doing that, having to deal with a typhoon type storm that's just swept over the country today. So it's been super tough for them. And because the quake was a vertical shake, I talked about this on Facebook. A lot of buildings are not safe. So the question of where these people are going to go, and when they will be able to go back to their homes or have a home to go back to, it could take a long time. It's tough. And the other thing is the big difference between Kyushu and Tohoku, where they had the Great East Japan earthquake, is it's more densely populated, it's more economically important. A lot goes on there. So it's going to have, arguably, even though it's not as big as the Great East Japan earthquake, and it's not as destructive over as broad an area, it could arguably have a not dissimilar, certainly maybe equivalent to the Kobe quake in terms of economic impact. And Kobe, Kumamoto city itself, 300,000 people, same size as Christchurch in New Zealand, has been hit as badly as Christchurch was. This is going to have a pretty significant impact for a long time, both on the people who are directly affected and the national economy. It's pretty hard to see how they're going to increase the sales tax now, based on this happening. I think it's going to be pretty tough. Also, do need to say a word about Ecuador. I'm still only hearing just information about this now. A very large earthquake there. Again, you only have magnitude numbers, you don't have Shindo numbers, but magnitude 7.8, and the assumption is that they don't have the same sort of building standards and codes that you have in Japan. So you're talking about, really, really probably a lot of damage there, and probably, so that's a very bad situation for them already. There's already dozens of casualties coming in that we know about from that, and I'm actually sure that where Japan constantly trains and prepares for this sort of thing, I'm sure it's going to be very, very tough for a long time in Ecuador as well, actually. Thoughts go out to them at the same time, but this was a really big quake. And the other thing which I would emphasize with this is that when you think about, it's not really clear what we can do to help. People are still assessing. There's a lot of military. There's a lot of people going in there to help. The thing to bear in mind is that if you are in Japan or you're planning to come to Japan at any time, it's not really a question of will this happen to you. This is a place where these sort of big quakes don't happen very often. But even in parts of Japan which are not known for quakes, it happens. Kobe wasn't known for quakes. This area isn't. But certainly Tokyo and other places which are known for big quakes. If you are living in Japan or planning to live for any amount of time, it's practically a certainty that you're going to deal with this. So this isn't a matter of helping some people out, deciding whether to help them out. It's almost a matter of thinking, well, what would you want the country to do when this happens to us? And it will happen to us, especially here in Tokyo. So it's another opportunity to learn. Where are people having trouble? What are the sort of preparations that people realize they should have taken and that we would take or need to think about in the same circumstance? It's tough, but follow it, please. Pay attention to what the people there need, and pay attention from the perspective of thinking about what to learn for when this happens to us. Have to wipe my nose. Oh dear. So I'm actually, now that I'm talking, I'm actually in worse shape. It was fine when I was kind of sitting still. Was there a big quake in Tonga today? Jeez, there's been a lot of quakes. There's been some really big ones in Southeast Asia. I have a crazy theory about this. If you want to hear my crazy, baseless, unscientific theory that I probably shouldn't be saying, but I'll say it. Global warming. The melting of the Greenland ice caps has actually caused the weight of those ice caps to be completely redistributed, and where the global magnetic North Pole, as anyone in North America knows, has been slowly moving, toward either in or towards Hudson Bay. Basically, for the last, if you talk about where the North Magnetic Pole is and the Earth's axis, everyone knows it is, it's up there around Canada or something like that. And it's been big news this year that it has been moving. It's changed direction. It started moving towards Europe. It started moving east. whereas it's always been moving kind of west and north towards Hudson Bay. And people have tried to figure out why is the why is the Earth shifting on its axis, and they figured out it's probably the redistribution of all this water that's melting at the moment in Antarctica and in Greenland. That's not the tinfoil part. That's news, and kind of crazy news that actually, it's not just rising sea levels and all the stuff that's freaking us out. This is something people hadn't really thought about, but yeah, it's actually changing the way that the Earth spins. If this is really happening, if the Earth is actually shifting on its axis, if this is actually causing enough of an impact that it's changing the location of the North Magnetic Pole and the way that the Earth spins, here's the crazy part. I wonder if that is putting pressure, on tectonic movements that could be triggering all these crazy big earthquakes that are happening everywhere around the Pacific Rim at the moment. And that being the case, that is really bad news. If being in Tokyo, no one knows. This is the thing. No one understood this quake at all. And when the first quake happened, they said look out for aftershocks. It turned out that wasn't the quake. It was the pre-quake. The real quake happened 2 days later. And the weather agency put out a statement today that they really have no idea what's going on. They couldn't predict it. Even when it happened, they couldn't predict what was going to happen afterwards. And there's fear that this is going to trigger, more activity in nearby faults. But all of these quakes happening: Tonga, Ecuador, Southeast Asia, Myanmar, China, everything that's been happening lately, all sort of at the same time. It's probably unrelated. This is what you always say. But reading this after reading some news recently about the Earth's axis actually shifting because of all the stupid shit that we've been doing, putting all this carbon in the air, basically melting the ice caps of the planet. I don't know. I wonder if it's got something to do with it. No way to tell. It could be a crazy theory. It could be a crazy thing. But, if it turns out to be true, you can give me all the credit for it. I'll take royalties. It's my crazy theory. So what else we got here? Let's get back. If you want to be a permanent resident in Japan, I waited 10 years. I think it used to be like 8 years if you were married. Was it 5 years if you were married, and 10 years if you're just a regular guy? I got married after being here for 10 years, so I was like double covered when I got it. They're talking about making it available for people in less than 5 years, less than 3 years, if you meet certain criteria. So what are those criteria? Highly skilled professionals are what they want. They want so a special category which was introduced, and pardon me. So basically target areas where they want to encourage migration to Japan to fill key high skilled areas of the economy. Yeah, they'll put you on a fast track. You only have to work here for 3 years and you can get a permanent visa. You don't even have to be married for it. So yeah, for all those people who want to come to Japan, check out the visa categories that qualify. I think I saw it here. Where is it? Highly skilled professionals. Does it say what they are? Here it says at the top, sorry. Researchers, engineers, and managers. Well, that's kind of vague. But anyway, there are. The point is, it's getting increasingly easy to get visas to come to Japan and stay in Japan. And do what I do. I mean, it used to be such a huge path. Yeah, I think it was 5 years last I checked, but I was already 10 years in at the time I found, so it didn't really matter in terms of how long it took. Have you just noticed this? I think I saw this on Gizmodo and Engadget, and I took this link from TubeFilter, but someone has actually made a database where you can make Obama say anything that you want. I want to make rap music with this. I know some people do this and they can do it quite good quality. It's not great quality, but it's kind of cool that you can actually still do this. You can actually use clips of Obama to make him say random stuff. So I've been playing with it, and I've confirmed it does everything I want it to do. So I'm going to use it probably when I get some time to be able to do that. No, Mr. Cordy Chip, I was adjusting these glasses. I was using the wrong finger, and besides where I come from, we do that as well, but we won't do that. So it's kind of if I'm going like this, this is kind of we do this anyway. This is not peace where I come from. So yes. And this, okay, so I saw this video, I saw this Rocket News blog, and I watched this video of this guy who went and bought basically a kerosene heater pump and a siphon and a 100 yen LED. So for $2, 200 yen, booyah, we got working lightsabers. and these are kick-ass. These are awesome. You can customize. I just bought some cellophane to customize the color, and these are awesome. So yes, I've made like 6 of these. Maybe at the end of the show I'll show you what it looks like in the dark, just as a torch. They're really really awesome. I made a video last night on how I made mine, and it's quite so Busan Kev actually went out and got the materials and built one himself for his kids tonight, and that looks really cool. Sorry, I have to take a moment. Hang on a second. Jeez. This could be like one of those crisis movies, you know, where I don't know. I guess this is what it would be in the future, where you have that. There was that great movie. What was it called? Contagion or something, where it had like Gwyneth Paltrow as like the originator of like a new disease. It was actually, I mean, it was harsh. It was kind of depressing, of course, depressing movie, but it was really really good. Yes, so anyway, this is cool and this is awesome, and I'll show you how I did it later, and I think I've got the link to the video that I made. This caught my attention this week. Ghost in the Shell considered using CGI to make white actors look more Asian. Now, this raises an interesting problem. Well, 2 things. One, and there's a lot of the comments about this, they point out people in Japan actually don't really care so much about this stuff. They find it kind of cool because Scarlett Johansson is so popular in Japan. The idea that she would play a Japanese person, everyone's like cool with it. But of course, that's because they expect it from an American movie that Americans would play the roles, and Japanese, I guess, don't really look at Japanese Americans as Japanese, or they don't look at themselves as Asian. They look at themselves as their nationality, Japanese, by and large. Americans, on the other hand, you know, it's a very diverse country, so Americans like to organize themselves into teams of races, which is itself extremely problematic because, you know, people don't fall into neat categories. I've heard when you sign up in Hollywood, you know, with your resume, you have to put what race you are. Unless you have extremely racist relatives that really just keep to the tribe and stay pure Chinese or pure African or pure Caucasian or whatever, I don't know how you fill out those forms. I mean, you know, I'm not that exotic, but, you know, I would still, I don't know. People mix, especially, and to me, you know, the more mixing you see, that's a sign of success in a country. You know, this is why I love Brazilian people. Everyone is just mixed up. So anyway, there is this problem in Hollywood that a lot of Asian activists get very upset at seeing Caucasians, you know, cast to do Asian roles because it's deemed that Asian stars are not big enough. They don't have enough star power, so they want a Caucasian who's more popular. Economically more beneficial to put a Caucasian in an Asian role for a movie, and the Asians are saying that's racist because they're Caucasian, which I'm not quite so convinced about. But, you know, if this is really possible, if it's possible to use CGI to actually make Caucasians look Asian, well, think about this. When you think about how expensive it is to actually get a really really popular white person into a movie, like Scarlett Johansson, surely it would be actually cheaper and more effective to get a kind of unpopular Asian person and to use CGI to make them look white and popular, and then have them play Asian people while looking like a Caucasian person. I think that makes more sense. And, you know, it will get rid of all those disparities of people who are mixed race. You could just totally CGI out. You know, you could probably, I don't know, make me look like I'm from Papua New Guinea or something like that, and, you know, it would be legit. So it is kind of funny. I mean, I don't know, if it seems like you need to be Caucasian to get into an Asian movie, then maybe Asians can now get into Asian movies by being CGI'd as Caucasians. It's crazy. I don't know. Like I said, being in Japan, where it seems ironic, it's hard to explain to people that race really isn't that big a deal in Japan. Nationality is a huge deal, and culture is a huge deal. But those are very separated out from race. And although there is this weird situation of people like me who should be accepted in some ways, perhaps culturally, as Japanese or as, you know, Japanese nationals, and never will be to some extent because of how I look, it doesn't bother me. It's just the race thing is just kind of out of thought. I'm a foreign national. it's very much about, and you can see this in the way that Nikkeijin are treated when they come to Japan, and the way that different half people who grew up outside Japan and who grew up inside Japan. Japanese are very protective of half, like sports stars or school kids or whatever. If you make the mistake of treating them as not Japanese, their friends will get pissed off. But at the same time, if you're an American, if you're American race half, or certainly a Nikkeijin, you come to Japan, don't expect acceptance without knowing the rules or how to get by, based on your race or your appearance. And that throws people for a loop sometimes, because they expect that when they come. It's a nationality thing, and it's cool. I mean, being racially Japanese is cool because it gives you a bridge. And it gives you a little bit of an advantage of going around if you can pull off being Japanese, which is really kind of a pain to do. But I like the fact that Japanese, I actually think it's right to focus on, I think nationality and culture is more relevant than race to me. I don't really give a shit. I mean, I really sincerely don't give a shit about it. And I find all of these stories that come out of America that are fixated about that person's not Asian looking enough, or that person's Caucasian and shouldn't play an Asian. I get the point, and it is kind of ridiculous. I admit that they need to cast white people to play Asian people or black people or whatever. But at the same time, it's kind of it's kind of annoying that they just keep going on about people so race fixated for a country which puts so much, emphasis on the need to not pay attention to race. America pays a lot of attention to race, and it gets really annoying for people who don't really give a shit about it. Anyway, that's my 2 cents. I've got a cold. It's probably the cold medicine talking, making me talk crazy stuff at the moment. Of course, I'm a white person. Why would I care? I get the best deal anyway, and I'm aware of that. But I don't know. I think some people just need to ease up on the cultural appropriation and the right race to be doing this. I mean, that in itself, does it ever occur to the people who are saying that you can't have white people playing Caucasians, that you and yourself are being actually kind of like racist, even though I get your point. Anyway, back to Tokyo, and to more relevant stuff. Japan has this problem with this huge childcare shortage that's driving people crazy. The government's trying to promote women working, but there aren't enough places to take their kids while they work. It's actually having a huge economic impact, and it's caused problems for the economy. So they're trying to push the creation of more child daycare centers and so on. However, when you also have an aging society of crappy, grumpy old people who just hate everything, there you go. They have the old people gang up and oppose the creation of new kindergartens and childcare centres in their neighbourhoods because they're too damn noisy. I used to live beside a kindergarten, and they are noisy between 10 in the morning and 3 in the afternoon. Who gives a flying rat's fuck, seriously, about a noisy kindergarten? Especially these are cranky 80-year-olds who probably sleep like 2 hours a day anyway. So yeah. And by the way, I've seen Japanese companies that are called like the Komatsu Kabushiki Kaisha, and the trucks just have written on the side KKK. And also I used to play for a French rugby club that was sponsored by BNP Paribas Bank, one of the biggest banks in France, of course. So I had this jersey, a rugby jersey for my club, which has BNP written across the middle of it, that alarmed my sister who lives in the UK. So these things are funny. They are funny. They are. And I'm swearing, it's the cold beds. It's not my fault. Dehydration. My awesome lightsaber I just put up here just to show off. I made like a bunch of these things. Purple one, I use different torches, I use different variations, different colours and stuff like that. That is Mace Windu, and that is Obi-Wan Kenobi right there. This is the show last night. The show last night on 2.5 Oyajis was fun. It was kind of fun. I had no idea what to expect. I didn't know anything about Barry. Barry's a talker. He's a talker. He did not have any problem. He came on late. He was a bit, disheveled and a bit disorganized, but he came on and he talked. That was good. I became drawn in by the comments, which were a little bit harsh, but they were kind of fun. And what I'll say about Barry is that although he made this video that I hadn't seen, that puts him on the same side as Ryan Boundless and pissed off a lot of people, at the same time, the guy, it sounds like the guy had blue balls in Japan, which probably, threw off the brain a little bit. This can happen. And he's giving Japan kind of an open-minded second chance. And, I think that shows, again, I mean, a second chance at what? But yeah, he's made a new blog, he's changed his attitude. And the thing is, you don't have to like Japan. This is the thing. I criticize Japan, but it's nice to see that he's not completely declared it come to an end either. So it'll be interesting to follow his new blog. But there were some moments, yes, that people were a bit harsh, I thought, at times, but it was kind of fun. And at the end of the day, I think Barry, he's come around, he's shown some personal growth and some maturity with his decision to come back. So it'll be really interesting to see how he gets on and whether he ends up doing the same thing again or if he survives. A lot of talk about Asperger's last night. Yes, that was really politically incorrect, what people were saying. But there you go. I made a lightsaber tutorial last night. You can check out how to make these. $2, 200 yen, and they are awesome. They are sweet, and I love these things. I'll turn off the lights to show it even cooler soon. Talking a little bit about the economic impact of the Kumamoto quake. Yeah, it's gonna have a really big impact, including possibly on iPhones, because the camera sensors that are made for iPhones are made in the affected area, and those plants have been shut down. A bunch of car manufacturers. There is this problem. The government really encourages companies directly to spread out their production all over Japan and to give jobs to people in the different regions. And that's good. It spreads employment, it spreads wealth around the country, and it's been very successful. On the other hand, it is also it means that if there's a major disaster anywhere, it's going to screw up some company. And when you're dealing with sole makers of parts that are essential for an overall product, it actually increases your exposure and your risk, and that's what we have at the moment with the fallout from Kumamoto. Hopefully they'll be able to retool or set up again, but we'll see. James O'Hara, Americans need to learn to pronounce like Kiwis. I'm not convinced of that. When I was at university, my favourite lecturers were always Americans because they were easier to understand. They speak more clearly. We mumble, I mumble. But at the same time, my accent's gone to hell as well, so who knows. 41 confirmed dead, by the way, which is actually it shows something about the intensity. A lot of them are from collapsed houses, which is pretty scary, and it's a sign that there's going to be a lot more impact of people having homes that they can't go back to. But it's really the number of displaced people, 200,000 displaced people, and it's going to be a very, very big impact. So and this is another talk, as I mentioned earlier, that people are talking about this being the same sort of impact as the Kobe earthquake, the 1985 Great Hanshin earthquake. I made a Kylo Ren lightsaber today. Not sure how cool it is that my son is so into Kylo Ren. He saw my dad's stamp collection when we went to Thailand, and he was like, grandfather, I will complete what you started. And he was like giving me a funny look, and now he's asking me to make him this lightsaber, and I wasn't sure I should do it, but I did. I gave it to him, and last I saw, he ran off with it, and I don't know. I'm not sure it's going to be safe for me when I run into him next time. But at the same time, it was kind of cool to make a Kylo Ren lightsaber. So I'm good. It was cool. It was cool to. I made a lot of these things lately. This is something that happens during quakes and disasters. Happened in Tokyo during the nuclear accident. The shop's empty. People panic buy. They do this. This is why we always keep basically a month's worth of water in stock in the house ever since the Great East Japan earthquake. Because people are idiots. They do this sort of thing, even in Japan, actually. So yeah, it's kind of interesting as well. It's probably not a good sign for sales to see what gets left on the shelves in these situations. But yeah. More discussion then about the impact. This is Shiodome. It's a really futuristic area. It's right beside Ginza, but it's by Tokyo Bay. And yes. Sorry, I just read through by the comments. It's like a super sci-fi sort of area. I used to work actually in that green building on the right side of that photo on the 35th floor. I worked for Fujitsu for a year, or for 6 months full time. I was in that building, and seriously, it is like Star Wars Episode 2, the view from up there. It's just really, really cool skyline. It's right beside Dentsu, which is like the monopoly company that controls all advertising in Japan. It's just a super cool area. A lot of it, I put some information, some links up for what you can do. The Japan Red Cross seems to be the best place to go to if you want to make donations to support people in Kumamoto. But go around and keep following the news and keep finding out what is actually needed. So yeah, some discussion about Tinder going on in the comments. I never used Tinder, which I obviously shouldn't be. But even then, I'll admit to curiosity. All this stuff sort of predated me anyway. This is actually a photo taken facing the screen that I'm looking at right now with this puppy. And oh man, I love these things. Anyway, this is my green lightsaber. And these are cool. And is that it? We must be close to finishing. That is it. That's all the topics for tonight. I've got 10 minutes. I've just had a crazy week, and now I'm sick, and I've been crazy tonight. I haven't made that dance thing. It's like in editing, and it's there, and I just have to render it. The 110 BPM challenge, this great idea I had from the Hanami, which is like 2 or 3 weeks ago now, and I still haven't put this up. But that said, I still plan to do it. It's still there, and if I do that, I want to make a track. So, tell you what, do you want to hear a tune? I'll make a tune. Let's make a tune. If I want to make a tune on the fly, I've got nothing to build on, so I'm going to do another track based on Chaos later. I will get around to actually finishing some of these tunes soon. And yes, General Grievous. Well, I got more sabers than General Grievous now. Seriously, he's got like 4. I got like 6. Seriously, General Grievous ain't got nothing on me. Seriously, that guy's just a big, mechanical wuss. So yeah, I can say that I got more lightsabers than him. Seriously, screw him. Yeah, it's a tough. Although I must admit, I hear he's kind of badass, but I haven't actually seen the what was it, Clone Wars animated series, which I understand built up his character actually more than Episode 2 did. But anyway, music please. I will go to bed. You gotta go to bed, Timiko. Kia ora, have a good night. New track. Let's just save what I have and new track. Yep. Okay. I have to get my stand for this. Okay, so I need this. Boom. I need to get this. Oh, yeah. Okay, let me just get this set up and ready to go. There we go. That is that. Get the camera on. Camera, boom. Let us put that there and flip that around. And put this on. Oh. Well, that's probably for the best anyway. There we go. Okay. Now, why is it all blacked out? There we go. Okay, let's make a track. Let's make some music. We got candles and stuff to deal with here. How do I do this? Okay, let's do that. And let's do that. And let's do the outro. Sorry, I'm not feeling the best tonight, but I hope you found that interesting enough. I'm going to make it 110 because I want to do a 110 challenge. What genre should I do? Blow my nose. Let's start with a basic beat, which actually techno is always nice for. Okay. I just need that as a reference. I'll fix the beat at the end. Let's do something I don't usually do. Let's try something What's an instrument I don't usually use? Let's do Flying Choir. I've never used that. What's this sound like? That's kind of crap, but let's see what I can do with it. Let's make it a D, and let's make it Dorian. Let's make it Lydian. I haven't done one of those for a while. And let's make it 32. And let's quantize it with 8. Okay, that's good enough. It's kind of Eurobeaty. That's not bad, actually. That was not bad for a first go. That's That's kind of the right sort of sound, I think. Let's go with this. That's no good. Let's make this 32. Let's not write this up. Maybe a little bit of an upper. That's that one I don't like. Okay. Let's put some beats on it. Crunchy. Oh. Where's the focus? There we go. My Colts are better when I'm doing this. Fixing it. Well, it's a bit meh, but you know, it's fun. I'll save it, we'll see where it goes. That'll do. So that was fun. Hope you enjoyed the show. Sorry I'm not feeling the best. I'll be better next week, of course. 2.5 Oyajis will be back on my show. I will do a show featuring how I got my DSLR to work and whether it causes me to have a Barry White voice and whether or not that's a good thing. Keep following the news in Kumamoto, please, and keep them in your thoughts, because like I said, that can happen to any of us at any time. Boom, boom. And yeah, keep cool to after school. Thank you for joining me tonight. Sorry I'm not in the best form, but hope you enjoyed it nonetheless, and good to see all of you in the comments there. Good stuff. See you later. Boom. Peace. Just gonna turn this stuff off. What do you got? 58 minutes. It's actually pretty good timing. I should be sick more often. Let's go, and where's the mouse? Here's the mouse. I will do that, Caroline. Thank you. Have a good night. Peace.